This morning on BRN Finance, post-election, cryptocurrency gains popularity. And joining me now to help break it all down, Jane King joins us from the NASDAQ in New York City. Jane, always great to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, always great to be with you, Jeffrey.
And did you have a great Thanksgiving?
I did have a great Thanksgiving. Went to my friend's house. She took care of almost everything, but I was in charge of the pies. So it's a good thing to be in charge of.
Yeah, and do tell what type of pies. Did you make them or are you I didn't know you were a baker.
No, so it's a pumpkin pie and an apple crumble. And I ordered them from the local elementary school, which has a Thanksgiving pie fundraiser. So, and they're, I'm sure, much better.
Yeah, well, you're a person with so many talents. I just thought maybe you're also a baker as well. All right, Jane, let's talk about what's baking post election. One of the things that's baking cryptocurrency. Hopefully, people can see this is, or maybe it's this way on the ascendancy. I don't know. I can't. I get reversed because I'm looking at myself in the mirror monitor and I don't know
Yeah.
what direction. But in all seriousness, cryptocurrency since post election has been on the rise.
Absolutely has soared. So there was first of all, there's a big lobbying effort on the part of the crypto industry, which is really Coinbase, one of the big leaders in this, gave a bunch of money trying to get not just the presidency to be pro crypto, but a lot of like House and Senate leaders as well. Bernie Moreno in Ohio
Ohio.
was a huge crypto advocate. In fact, came from the blockchain industry. So they're really trying to get these people elected because they felt very threatened by the Biden administration, in particular, the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, who has filed a lot of lawsuits against these crypto companies. And they, what they wanted was just give us some regulation. Don't file lawsuits and form regulation based on that. Just tell us the regulation, we can abide by that. So Coinbase even at one point threatened to leave the US. That's kind of been tamped down. But so that was a huge relief, and that's why we're seeing crypto do so well.
Yeah, I think Bitcoin, which I think is one of the most well known. There's a lot of different crypto. I mean, there must be dozens, if not
Oh, there's
hundreds.
thousands, like
Yeah,
10,000. I mean,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it's more than the mutual funds. I think mutual funds at one
right.
point were 10,000.
Right, right.
But
Yeah,
it,
but
but
Bitcoin is definitely like the standard bearer.
but I read somewhere post election, it's like at over 90 or $100,000 per Bitcoin. That's a lot of.
That's right. I mean, and that's a huge milestone. So, it's been interesting to watch. I first started learning about Bitcoin in like 2017, and it was about at the end of that year, it finished around 17, $18,000, and people were really buzzing. I remember being at Christmas parties, people like, what is Bitcoin? And then it collapsed the next year to like 3,000 something. Then now all the way back up to right around 100,000. So it's been volatile, but it feels like it's getting more legitimized with governments. And let me just quote something for you here that I
Sure.
pulled up. So no S&P 500 companies have adopted it as their primary treasury reserve asset. No major countries have it as a primary treasury reserve asset, and a majority of people in the world still have less than 1% ownership. So, I mean, they're making the argument that there's still quite a bit of room to grow. And there's even talk about Senator Cynthia Lummis has suggested a Bitcoin reserve, kind of like an oil reserve, but a Bitcoin reserve for the US, and how that could help with the national debt. And if the US does this, we might see some other countries having some FOMO and want to get involved as well. So it could be some really impressive growth ahead.
Yeah, one thing I thought was interesting, Jane, is I think the new administration will create a Department of Cryptocurrency. So you talked about Secretary Gensler, or the Chairman Gensler, excuse me, who was chairman of the Securities and Exchange
SEC.
Commission, right?
Yeah.
Now, in this new administration, you said it's going to be pro or more bullish on crypto. They're going to create a department within the federal government. I don't think it's a constitutional officer type of position, but that is a
Right.
big signal.
Well, and just somebody to kind of be a government like liaison between the industry and the regulators that really understands not just cryptocurrency, but the blockchain technology that is the technology that underpins all cryptocurrencies. They understand that and its potential, and somebody that's friendly and can kind of be a liaison and help construct some really positive regulations. So it could be like just a huge change in terms of how the US is seen. I mean, the US was really losing ground in this area to Dubai and Singapore and places like that. But if they do this well, I mean, the US could be a leader in this area again.
And Jane, what about central bank digital currencies? Is it analogous to what we're talking about here with Bitcoin and crypto? You know, I've heard it. CBDCs, I think, is what they're, or
Yeah.
CB, central bank crypto
Digital currency.
digital currencies, CBDCs.
Yeah,
Is that analogous to what we're talking about here?
well, it's based on the same technology, but it has a central bank behind it. And one of the things that people love about Bitcoin is there's no central bank behind it. And it can be, exchanged worldwide in a second. It can, be a digital currency. I mean, Michael Saylor, who's a huge advocate, says, look, if I want to send, $10,000 worth of gold overseas, it's going to cost me to ship it. It's going to take a while. It's going to be, Bitcoin, it can be done in just a second, costs much less. I mean, they really see this as kind of the future of the digital economy, is to have a currency that's also digital.
Yeah, I just don't see, knowing what I know about the origination of the Federal Reserve in 1913, which is essentially, I'm going to call it a banking cartel. I mean, if you read the Creature on Jekyll Island, you understand exactly how it was created. I don't see that they're going to let something else get in the way. So I would think they'd want to adopt this technology, right? I think they'd want to kind of bring it on board and I don't know, not take control, but be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, and they may have a digital currency, but I don't think that means that Bitcoin and Ethereum
Hmm.
and some of the other big ones are going away.
Yeah.
So there might be both, and these all kind of coexist together in this new digital currency world.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because the US dollar has been the reserve currency for a long time. What, since the 1900s, probably?
Yeah,
I mean,
probably. Yeah.
probably, well, actually, probably since the Federal Reserve was
Reserve.
created. I got to
Yeah.
think since 1913. A lot going on there, but it's really interesting, Jane, as we talk to you, to see the impact of a new administration and what that could mean to the financial markets. Jane King, we're going to have to leave it there. Always great to talk to you. Great analysis as always, and thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
See you next time.
And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place. Details, of course, at our website. And we're back again tomorrow for another edition of BRN Sunday. We'll be joined by a very special guest on another important topic. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes.